This is Franklin. Oops, you can't see him.
Hi, it's nice to meet you. So I'll be talking to you about how hand washing slows the spread of coronavirus. You may know that wearing a mask can help slow the spread by helping stop droplets from being breathed in or breathed out and just prevent them from going to other people. But also, it can be found on surfaces. So the coronavirus can get into dirt and grime that's on our hands, and then when we touch our face, it can get into our body and get us sick. One way we can do that, help stop that, is by washing our hands with soap and water. And soap has two parts to it, one part that really likes water and one part that hates water. So when we rub the soap on our hands, it attaches to an oily layer on the coronavirus and it just doesn't get let go. So it's on the virus. And then whenever we rinse our hands with water, the water attracting part of the soap goes and follows the water and it tears apart the virus and it rinses them off our hands. That's basically how that works. So do you have any questions about it?
Well, is there a specific type of soap that would be better than others?
Right now, the soaps that we think work best is liquid and liquid soaps. And then bar and foam soaps, they still work, but foam soaps, you might not get enough soap on your hands. It's just a little harder because of how the air is in it. So you just need to make sure you get a good amount of foam soap. And then bar soap, sometimes if you don't use them frequently enough, like other bacteria and things can get on there. But of course, it's still good to use soap, and you should always use soap if it's there.
Okay.
This might be a bit of an obvious question, but why do you think washing your hands reduces getting coronavirus?
Well, if you wash your hands, then you get rid of all the grime and nasty things that are on and in between your fingers.
But an extra special part of washing your hands is the soap, because the soap takes it to a new level. So when soap comes in contact with a virus, it can actually destroy the virus. And it does this by breaking through the virus's outer envelope, because a virus is coated in a outer layer of fat molecules that protect all of the genetic material inside. So the soap molecules can get in and destroy that. And so soap molecules actually have two parts. They have hydrophilic / water-loving heads and hydrophobic / water-hating tails. And so the hydrophobic head of a soap molecule is attracted to the outer envelope of the virus. It is attracted in, and the heads of the soap molecules squeeze their way in between the different molecules of the virus's envelope. And then a bunch of soap molecules will make their way into the envelope of the virus, and they'll create sort of bubble around pieces of the envelope, and those are called micelles. And so they capture the pieces of the envelope and carry them away, and then when this happens, the envelope is destroyed.
It's interesting. I didn't know that the soap went into the molecules. I thought it just like coated up the sides and then washed it off. What about hand sanitizer? Does that like work well, like better than soap and water, or worse?
It works a little bit worse. It's not recommended as a substitute, but if you aren't able to wash your hands with soap and water, then it's basically the next best thing.
In order to slow and prevent the spread of coronavirus, it's important to wash your hands. And I wanted to ask you if you knew like how soap works to destroy the virus.
You know, soap kind of is made up of two parts. Like it has a hydrophobic tail and a hydrophilic, or if I'm mixing it up, head. But it works to form membranes that will encircle like oil, for example. That's why it cleans oil so well when you do the dishes, because it's able to create like an envelope or as like a micelle or something, and it encircles it and then is able to remove it. And I think it uses that structure in order to also break down the membranes that encircle the virus.
Coronavirus, which is also hydrophobic, gets pulled in by the tails.
Yeah.
And thus it's destroyed because it can no longer work without that protective membrane, because it needs the protective membrane to enter human cells, because that's where the spike proteins are. And that's what it uses to sense and trick human cells to letting it in. the virus first started spreading, it was spreading really fast and people didn't know why. And one of the main findings researchers have found is that coronavirus is actually really stable on a lot of common surfaces for a very long time.
Long time. Yeah.
Yeah, so it can live on plastic for 4 to 7 days. Washing your hands not only protects you, but it protects others by preventing the transmission of the virus to different surfaces and spreading it that way.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy that it's such an old thing that we always say wash your hands, but it's still just by far the most effective way in order to prevent the spread. That and wear a mask.